Daily Upkeep for Monday, October 23rd, 2023.
That's right. It's all of the Magic news you need in 10 minutes or less.
And the biggest news this week is we have previews kicking off once again. Lost Caverns of Ixalan previews start tomorrow.
That's right. At 9 a.m. Pacific, you can tune into the Magic YouTube or Twitch channel and see the official kickoff video, which will have a first look at artwork, mechanics, and cards from the set.
The set officially releases on November 17th with pre-release events the weekend before. Our preview card is coming out Sunday, October 28th, so stay tuned for that. And a list of where you can find preview cards from all your favorite creators is over on dailymtg.com.
The entire Ixalan story is also already available now over on dailymtg.com, so get those dino stories.
We now have a first look at Magic the Gathering Fallout as well. Full disclosure, I have almost zero knowledge of Fallout. So keep that in mind when we talk about this.
So we can give you some cold hard facts, like it's releasing on March 8th. The collaboration showcases the post-nuclear dystopian RPG world of Fallout, and there will be 4 commander decks, each based around a different theme.
Yes, there will be Scrappy Survivors. This is red, green, and white featuring dog meat as your commander, a sentence I never thought I would say. This deck focuses on scavenging for tools, food tokens, and allies. It also introduces something new called junk tokens, which can be sacrificed to draw cards.
There's Mutant Menace, which is black, green, blue. You can play creatures and buff them up with counters and proliferate, irradiate yourself and your opponents using the new Rad counters. These are player counters that mill and damage you. The commander is the Wise Mothman.
And next up, there is Hail Caesar. This is red, white, and black. Be aggressive with an army of creature tokens with the help of the squad mechanic, which lets you create extra token copies of creatures. With the commander is Caesar, Legion's Empire.
And finally, there's Science. Blue, white, red with Dr. Madison Lee as your commander. You'll play artifacts to generate energy and focus on high-tech energy weapons, scientists, synths, and pre-war robots.
There's also going to be collector boosters to go along with these commander deck releases, and they feature a lot of really cool art treatments. There is the Pip-Boy treatment. I don't know what that means, but that's what it's called. And this looks like you're looking through like kind of a view screen at the creature or the card. I don't know. It looks kind of cool and very like future dystopian punk to me.
Yeah, we also get to see in this example the Wise Mothman himself, their self. 1 black, green, blue for a legendary creature insect mutant. It's a 3/3 flyer. Whenever the Wise Mothman enters the battlefield or attacks, each player gets a rad counter. Whenever 1 or more non-land cards are milled, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to X target creatures, where X is the number of non-land cards milled this way.
There's also going to be something called Borderless Vault Boy reprints, each featuring Vault Boy reprints of very cool cards, including Soul Ring, which features Vault Boy in his iconic thumbs up pose. That's the extent of my knowledge of Fallout right there.
There will be full art lands in Fallout style, of course, extended art cards, and finally, bobbleheads that get the serialized treatments. There's 7 cards and 500 copies each of them, like Intelligence Bobblehead, 3 mana for an artifact bobblehead. You can tap to add 1 mana of any color, and pay 5, tap, and draw X cards, where X is the number of bobbleheads you control.
Next up, we have a new secret lair drop to tell you about, and this one is kind of unique in that you can only get it at WPN stores. This one's called Calling All Hydra Heads, and it's all Hydras all the time. It's going to release on December 8th, and you can ask your local game store how you can get a copy. All of the cards are illustrated by Cat Dirty and feature a very cool trippy trippy art style. And the Hydras you can get in this set are Zexara the Exemplary, Unbound Flourishing, Primordial Hydra, Hydroid Krasis, Gargos Vicious Watcher, and Hydra Token.
Great. Next up, the next Arena Open is this weekend, and it's Wilds of Eldraine Limited.
Yes! I'm very excited for this, everybody. We also now know what's coming up for the first MagicCON of 2024. It's going to be in Chicago, which we already knew, but we now know the formats of the Pro Tour there. It's going to be Pioneer and Murders at Karlov Manor Draft.
finally, there was a Discord Q&A about the new play boosters, where several members of Wizards of the Coast answered questions from concerned draft enjoyers, trademark, in the Magic Discord last week. There's a very interesting read available on Daily MTG, if you're not on Discord, that answers a lot of the frequently asked questions in that Q&A about how play boosters and draft will function.
Yeah, one that I found really interesting was somebody asking about the actual composition of the set, asking if there's going to be more rares and less commons to reflect the changes in the play booster. And Mike Turian responded that Murders at Call of Matter has 81 commons and 100 uncommons in the main set, which is essentially swapping with what we normally get in current Magic sets. For example, Phyrexia All Will Be One had 100 commons and 80 uncommons, so it's just a reverse of that. But for rares and mythics, they're staying at 60 rares and 20 mythic rares, as they have done in typical sets. So there's a whole bunch of stuff like that in that conversation. Mark Rosewater addresses a comment that he made on Twitter, which basically made everybody terrified that draft was going to die. And he's like, no, draft is alive and well and actually popular. And he says it's been growing over the last 3 years, which I was very, very happy to hear. So if you want to hear more about that, check out that article because it's very cool.
Sierkovitz on Twitter also did the math on how likely you are to open a 24 rare sealed pool. You are more likely to win the lottery in the UK twice. Well, turns out it's probably not going to happen, everybody. But if it does, you got to let us know. And finally, to close things out here, we now have details about the next pre-release that Loading Ready Run is going to organize. It's going to be happening on Friday, November 3rd. Mark your calendars, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific at twitch.tv/Loading Ready Run, featuring special guests Ash Lizzle, Anna Margaret, and Z main character. Well, that's all the magical news we have for you this week on this episode of The Upkeep. Join us for our full-length episodes, Good Luck High Five, in the same place you get this podcast, because this week we're going to be talking about Lost Caverns of Ixalan, because we're getting the first look, like we mentioned at the top of this episode, tomorrow, and we're going to let you know all about it. If you enjoy this show, that show, or anything that we make, you can support us over on patreon.com/glhfmagic.